Welcome back, guys. Well, today I'm here in Nevada and I want to show you a really special place, the Red Rock Canyon. Stay tuned. So I'm just out here, just outside the park, and look at this beautiful scenery. We're gonna go check it out. Got a rental car today, so it's a red Mustang convertible. It's all they had. Darn. And so we're gonna go in the park, go on a hike, and go on a 12-mile scenic drive through the desert. How awesome is that? Let's go. And here's our ride, the Mustang. It's a pretty sweet ride. All right, so we stopped at the visitor center to grab a map, and now we're gonna head on the scenic drive, and we'll head out to one of the hikes. So I've switched spots so I could show you a bit of the scenic drive here. On the passenger side, these beautiful rocks up ahead. So right now we are in the Mojave Desert. Temperatures here in the summertime, you know, they get above like 100 Fahrenheit, which is crazy. Not used to that kind of heat. It's certainly quite dry here as well. So already I can feel that I need to drink a ton of water. They recommend if you're out for a day hike, you need to bring at least 4 liters of water and possibly an extra liter so per person, just in case, you know, you get kind of stuck out here. So lots of beautiful scenery. I love coming down to this area of the US. We're in Nevada. This is a beautiful conservation area that was established in 1990. There's a really neat scenic route we're going on, and there's multiple different hiking trails off of the scenic route. And you can go hiking, biking, bouldering, rock climbing, lots of cool stuff to do here. This area has a lot of desert tortoises, and you'll see there's a tortoise crossing sign. So really hoping this video does this area justice. Like, my mouth is dropping every time I look at this scenery. It's incredible. So you can see this beautiful rock formations here. So we're at the High Point Lookout. Isn't that amazing? You can see the cars coming up from there. That's where we came from. Gorgeous. What a perfect day for this. I'm sure this scenery is gorgeous in any weather, but amazing. So right now it's sort of later afternoon, so it's not too you know, too hot out. I think it's about 18 degrees Celsius out right now. It's beautiful. So here you can see some yucca. And this can be used, you know, some people would use it for making baskets. The roots apparently were used for making soap and shampoo. And when they flower, you can use them in food. Very interesting. So right now I'm on the White Rock Hills Loop. It's a beautiful area around here, and we're gonna be headed towards a spring. So along the way, we're gonna explore some of the plants, hopefully see some animals. Bighorn sheep are common around here. And also, there's some really interesting history here. There's some Native American pictographs, as well as some sites where cooking happened. So we're gonna be looking for communal roasting pits that were used as early as 500 AD. So that's pretty neat. Let's get on the trail. Of course, I brought a couple things on my hike. I brought this little tiny compass, my thermometer, which says it's about 20 degrees out right now. I've also got my awesome little bracelet that I made, my little survival bracelet, and a little tiny med kit. Of course, in my bag I've got water, a sweater, well, my cell phone, which doesn't actually work out here, and a power bank, but a little backup for taking pictures, I guess. I've also downloaded a map of this area too, which is handy, and I bought at the visitor center a really nice topographical map around here. So, you know, always good to be prepared out here in the desert. You never know what you're going to run into. And, you know, it's a few hours before sunset here, so I want to keep an eye on the time. So, of course, I have my watch. Here's one of the beautiful cacti that are found in this region. There's lots of different species of them. in the guide that I have, it does identify them as well. So I'll have to go through that and figure out what it is. This is the book that I'm using for the visitor's guide. Very informative. I highly recommend it. Inside it's got information about the area, the trails, and the local wildlife. So here are the cacti, and I think it was one of the cholla species of cacti. So that's really neat. This book's really handy. So this is the Keystone Thrust Fault. So basically, there was a huge uprising in the earth that created this, and some older limestone is over some younger red sandstone. It's very beautiful. In the foreground you can see quaternary alluvium, and the vegetation is a mixed chaparral of creosote bush scrub and also some white bursage. It's a burrow. I think there's a very little guy that lives in there, just to give you some perspective. Here's something I don't see too often. Here's a lizard. These guys live in burrows underground in the winter and come out spring through fall to hunt because they're cold-blooded reptiles. Some other wildlife you want to be careful about around here are rattlesnakes. I believe there are 3 species of rattlesnake out here. And also there's scorpions, and there's also some tarantulas. So that's completely out of my, wow, like that's out of my realm. I don't really deal with tarantulas and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe some of those things that live in those holes are tarantulas. Who knows? But anyway, you want to be really careful where you're stepping, obviously, because there are lots of rattlesnakes, and you know, venomous bite could be pretty critical out here. So anyway, things to think about. I have not seen any rattlesnakes out here yet. In Ontario, we have one, the Massasauga rattlesnake. And it's fairly venomous, but of course a lot of hospitals, you know, will have the anti-venom if you can hopefully get to a hospital in time. So other things to be careful about in the desert. So here's some trees. So it means there is water nearby. So let's go take a look. There is a spring in this area, and that's where local wildlife feed. So we'll go check it out. I want to show you guys prickly pear cactus right here. And I actually just at the store on the way in bought prickly pear cactus salsa. The cactus produces a fruit called the prickly pear, and it's actually very tasty. I've had it before. So provides, I mean, they're not obviously in flower now, but they will be shortly. It's an excellent source of nutrition in the desert. Well, here we have some water. Wouldn't think you'd find that in the desert. Now the water here is not safe to drink, but you know, maybe if you had some water purification, you could drink it. But isn't that amazing? Water here in the desert. So there's some water draining down there. This ecosystem apparently is extremely fragile, so be really careful walking on the trail. Animals out here rely on water sources, and here are some hoof tracks from the bighorn sheep. These mammals don't stay very far from water sources. In fact, they're basically found within 2 miles of these springs in the park. This area has enough water to support large trees like this pinyon pine. The cave here you see in the mountain is caused by water basically eroding away at the surface of the rock. Oh, as I'm walking along here, I see a gray vireo just peeking out from behind this bush. There's 200 species of birds here in the park. The park here is a rock climber's paradise. Here are some beautiful boulders just begging to be climbed, jutting out of the terrain here. Lots of opportunities here if you're a fan of rock climbing. So we have some bunny rabbit signs. So there's lots of hares here in the desert, and coyotes and other critters eat them. So my friend just saw a rabbit, so we're on the hunt for another one. Oh, there's the desert cottontail. It's really hard to see him, but oh, there he goes. Here's a familiar sight to me. This is the Utah juniper, and the fibers from the plant were used to make clothing. The twigs and berries were used for medicinal purposes and spices. Here's a close-up again of the roasting pit. You can see the kind of donut shape there and sort of the scattered limestone. This is where many meals were cooked for a very long time and from very long ago. Presently, I think some are still used in some ceremonies. So I just met a gentleman back there who's flying a DJI quadcopter, and he's filming the sunset over the mountain range there. So that's awesome. I love a DJI. Over Christmas, I actually got a small little test drone, a little guy from Santa. So I had crashed it once and just repaired it. So I couldn't bring it on this trip. Actually, this is one of the areas apparently that you can fly drones because it is a conservation area versus a national park. National parks, apparently you're not allowed to fly drones around here in the States. So anyway, he's getting that sunset over there. So the drone is somewhere in that location. So he showed me some of the pictures on his cell phone. Very cool. So earlier I showed you what I believe to be a banana yucca. This is the Mojave Yucca, and as you can see, it's more like a tree. It kind of gets 6 to 8 feet tall, and it's got this really woolly looking trunk. So a couple of different species of yucca that I've been able to find so far. We're at another lookout, and you can see a bunch of rock climbers. They're probably heading back actually from climbing in and around this area. Run into a few rock climbers. It's really a paradise if you love rock climbing. So here's something that's really interesting as well. Here there's some Native American pictographs, which are, paintings on rock. So I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm looking at. So here they are. There's the handprints on the rock face, and the red color on the handprints is from iron oxide. And so how these were made is, they're mixed with, various minerals and clay and apparently some egg white, saliva, things like that, so that basically the paint sticks on there for a really, really long time. These are extremely old. So it's just amazing that this has been preserved over all these years. Before I let you go, here's a Joshua tree forest. Joshua trees are endemic to the Mojave Desert.